Ready? All right, and we are live. Welcome to episode 3 of Explaining Hemp. Today we're going to cover hemp is medicine. My name is Sarah Williams. I am CEO and founder of Hemp for Healthcare in Alaska and in America. And I am so excited to be joined today by not the super connector, Mandy. Where is she? Everybody pray that Mandy comes joins us, please. And Jeff Nunes Jr. with California Hemp Producers and Defiant Hemp Company, and Laura with Story Hill Bliss. All right, so welcome, you guys. I'm so excited to have you here today. And no doubt we're absolutely in for a treat for some great information about how to use hemp as a wellness supplement for your body. So welcome to the broadcast, everybody, today. But before we get started, we give all credit where credit is due. With every episode of Explaining Hemp, we pray. So let's go ahead and pray this thing in. Heavenly Father, I thank you, Lord God, for your presence today. I thank you, Jesus, for coming on this earth and just bringing your power, Father. Thank you for blessing this mission. Lord God, I ask that you anoint our lips, that you give us the right words to say to bring wisdom to the people today about how hemp is used as a medicine for our bodies. Lord God, help us to explain how we will disrupt the pharmaceutical industry and will bring about just a great move of God when it comes to how we use medicine for our bodies. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. All right. So, all right. I also want to thank this month's sponsor, Cannabis 15. You'll see the information there in the scrolling banner on how to contact them. They offer amazing IT solutions for your business, for strategic planning, just great software solutions for that. So definitely want to reach out to them. So let's get right down to today's broadcast. With every Explaining Hemp broadcast, we have hemp news. Hemp news is vitally important. It's the only thing right now that's bringing the world hope as to bringing us a greater future for the things to come. So Mandy with the Global Hemp Association is typically our hemp news guru, but she's not here today. So let's go ahead and just do what we did last week and get into the hemp industry daily and talk about some of the things that we are seeing there. So let me get that open here. All right. So can you all see my USDA giving hemp farmers breathing room on THC? Can we see that? Okay, perfect. Isn't that great news? Before the broadcast, Jeff and I were talking about how we think it's absolutely ridiculous that you have these arbitrary 0.3% THC limits, and you try to control Mother Nature and control God, and you can't. You just can't. And then you tell a farmer, well, if you get too much THC, you have to burn your entire crop no matter what the end use is for it. So why not use it for biofuel or for bioplastics or something non-consumable instead of having to burn the whole crop? So do either of you know what the breathing room was? Because I've not read this article yet.
I have not heard.
Me either.
It looks like the margin of error has increased from a total of 0.5 to 1% THC.
Okay, so that's nice. That's what active regs are. So it gives a little bit of breathing room, indeed. I mean, again, you can't control God. So, okay. So then we got some news about Illinois seeing more hemp processors, but fewer acres. Interesting. That's really the key to building any new hemp industry, right? Is that you've got to have a cohesive growth of both processors and agricultural growth so that they can supply each other in that sense. So that's good. There's a year of positive CBD policy changes. Why do you think, what's your opinion, Jeff or Laura, about why licenses might be up but acreage is down?
It's the market. We have no pathway from field to retail. A lot of the extractors really didn't have a fundamental, realistic ROI. So when they started borrowing millions of dollars, They were basing the price off of $1,600 per kilo of isolate, and now it's down to 300.
Right.
So
right.
no one stayed realistic.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it went down, it just everyone basically started backing out of the market. You see companies going bankrupt, and then all their inventory that they had that they couldn't sell, now the banks are selling for cheaper than you could produce it. So everyone who's trying to produce it is trying to compete with prices that are fire sales from banks and bankruptcies. That the true price, it's not what it really is. They're just selling it below cost just so they can recoup a percentage. Yes, a percentage. So trying to go with a laboratory that is doing this honestly and actually creating GMP certified product. The cost is more than what they have on the market right now. So a lot of people are going to have to hold out and really just wade this one out.
And and what's so interesting, and of course today we're talking about hemp as medicine, but what's been so interesting is that because of the way that the market has unfolded, we really had this huge CBD, this like boom of CBD, like everybody's got to have CBD, right? And so that became the big thing. Now there's how many other hundreds of other cannabinoids, 100 other cannabinoids out there. But CBD was how it all, started. And so everybody got into the CBD business. Thinking they're going to make millions. And yet then supplies just, exploded. And then you've got that supply and demand problem. So now as we look forward, we're really beginning to open our eyes to the other opportunities. But that's not what we're talking about today. So let's get moving on here to new industry group in Spain aims to change government's flower opposition. Now, I've seen this a lot recently, that this smokable flower problem, like they just freak out. I don't know what it is. It's like a deep-seated fear coming from the reefer madness days or something. But like if it's smokable hemp, they're going to ban it, but it's okay if it's an extracted oil form or something of that nature. I don't quite get the thinking, except just the old time thinking of reefer madness, maybe.
Well, it's going to disrupt the tobacco industry for sure. I mean, everyone who was, that's why you'll see Philip Morris and other major companies have really invested in this smokable industry. And as soon as there's a pathway, you'll see that the market will reopen up and move forward. But
yeah. So Laura, did you want to say something?
No, that's very much in line with what I was going to say. Okay. I've also been intrigued with the idea of how they're regulating. I think it's probably they're going to have to figure out a way to regulate for shipping and stuff, because it is legal to ship, for instance, a CBD pre-roll, but it's not to ship a marijuana cigarette. And I imagine that's very hard for them to regulate as well.
And give it time. I mean, we're almost legal. It's so close.
It is so close.
It's like legally, like nationally, it's so close. And so we're on the right side of history. We just got to work it out. But like looking down at this next headline of California bill to legalize hemp extracts in food, drinks, but also includes that ban on smokable flower, is like, it's so silly to me. Now, are you in California, Jeff, or are you in Colorado?
Yeah, I'm in California, and right. I know exactly the reason. It's too simple. I'm a court-appointed cannabis expert, and if you asked me what is marijuana, and our definition of marijuana here in California and the United States is the processed flower of the cannabis plant.
Right.
So if you're processing a flower of the cannabis sativa or hybrid to a smokable flower that goes into a pipe or a rolling cigarette or whatever, it's marijuana. No, doesn't matter the THC level or not. That's not the definition. The definition is the processing. Right. So if you process a flower for consumption, for inhalation, then it is marijuana, and they want that marijuana tax They want that money on
So
that
this comes down
flower.
to money for them. Could care less
That's
about the people and how the people need their medicine, but instead it's money.
Well, there's different ways of modalities for medicine. I mean, the medicine is definitely more safer for consumption orally or topically or the other other modalities. But the smokable flower is I can see that's as far as you can get from medicinal. For I mean, because just eating it is so healthier for you that it really hits all your CB1 or your C1 and your C2 receptors of your endocannabinoid system.
And we'll get into that in just a moment. So perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So now we have a better idea as to why, smokable flower is an issue. And just one last mention, we mentioned it last week, but I think it's pretty awesome that a study, I don't know how they studied this, but the study suggests that West Coast hemp growers escaped the smoke damage from wildfires. And California got hit hard with significant acreage burned in wildfires. But yet it goes to show that hemp absorbs that, from the air. So I wonder when you harvest that and when you test that crop, what's it gonna look like? What's it gonna, what's that final end product gonna be like? I don't
heavy
know.
metals.
You think so?
The heavy metals, the heavy metals from the smoke and from just the air alone. We've had people burn tires or trash down the road, and a field will test positive for heavy metals and toxins. So that smoke, basically, you'd have to take everything down to an isolate form. And once again, that's going to be a huge reason why the CBD isolate is going to be plethora here in the near future for everybody to really get that down. And that's kind of their importance. But it does go to show that hemp does help clean the atmosphere. It does absorb more carbon than many other plants. So I can see carbon credits start to come into play, that if you're doing hemp and once you get away from biomass and flower production and you get into pulp, herd, seed, grain, these are going to be more important for us to help clean the land from residual nutrients and pesticide and herbicide overusage, and really kind of especially the salts. A lot of land here in California is being depleted from use because of the toxins found in the soil. So having projects like hemp and water treatment companies that I work with is really kind of what we're needing to do, is start reestablishing food ready land, and using water treatment and hemp production is highly important for us here in the near future for the next generation.
Right. We can talk about that in a bit too, but something that's also interesting that I'm hearing is that it would seem like to get really secure and clean medicine, we would need to grow that indoors. So you could have air filtration and you could protect, the plant from not absorbing whatever else is going on outside to get really good medicine. Or unless you say down to the isolate level, then we can make sure that we're not having those chemicals,
well, that's where the major pharmaceutical companies are going, is basically the isolates of CBD, CBDA, CBG, CBC, CBLs, Delta 8, Delta 9s, and then creating a proprietary blend. That's about the only way a lot of people are starting to understand of patenting the process. They can't patent the plant, but they can patent certain blends. And that is the future of medicine, to be able to help the pharmaceutical companies. I mean, going against them is impossible, but if there's a way that we can introduce an endocannabinoid therapy where the opiate of the third day that you're after surgery, then you're off your opiates, then you're on more endocannabinoid therapy. That would make more sense, and it would help with a lot of people's healing process.
I have had a hysterectomy that from the day I got out of the hospital, which was day 2, I was on CBD therapy. From, there was like, I hate opioids. I absolutely despise them. So I don't want to shut down the pharmaceutical industry. When I say disrupt, I simply am saying that we're going to change the input. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now, away from synthetics into plants. God gave us plants. We now have the mental capability and the mental, awareness to be able to extract whatever we need from all plants within this world to create the optimal body of homeostasis that we need. We have that capability. So what we really need to do is just kind of own that right now and say, okay, synthetics are evil. Sorry, guys, but they've caused way more harm than they have good. And we have to recognize that. And so I'm not here to like shut down an industry, but to work with them, just like you said, Jeff.
Oh, that, and they're totally doing their research right now. Every major pharmaceutical company, every major agricultural company, everyone is looking at this as the eye on the prize kind of thing right now.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you're just joining us, today's topic is hemp as medicine. This topic is absolutely exciting for me. So as many of you know, I'm a big fan of cannabis as medicine for medicinal uses, okay? You don't see me going out there broadcasting, getting high just for the heck of it. I'm not a fan of recreational use because in my own personal life, it was to be abused and it caused lots of damage. But when it came to the total realization that if it wasn't for the cannabis plant, I would have succumbed to the suicidal ideations and I would have done all sorts of, horrible things. So cannabis allowed me to continue moving forward until I was able to get healed enough to the point that I didn't need it. So I understand it wholeheartedly. And even today, when I eat too much sugar and I need a little bit of anti-inflammatory relief, I call upon CBD for that purpose. So with that, today we're going to talk about the endocannabinoid system, okay, which is the system within the very body that God, the creator, gave to you and I that controls all your functions of your body. And did you know that whether it's the species of THC, marijuana, cannabis, however you want to call it, or it's the species of hemp, which CBD or the other cannabinoids, it still is a supplement to your endocannabinoid system. And so it just matters on how it creates the different levels and how it's used and whatnot. So first I'm going to turn it over to Jeff. Thank you, Jeff Nunes, with California Hemp Producers. Again, thank you so much for being here, Jeff. I'm really excited. You've brought so much expertise already. I'm so excited to see what you're going to bring with this. But can you share with us a little bit about yourself and kind of what got you into the cannabis space? And then share about the overview of the endocannabinoid system and how you understand hemp as medicine.
I was self-medicating for so long for my ADHD that whenever it came to having a slip and fall and damage to the spine, and found out that this was actually helping my body, not just my mind. And I made a first choice decision, first do no harm, Hippocrates. And this was very helpful for me to heal and get back into life. I started studying human physiology, human anatomy, and what was really great is I started growing my own, and then basically the city wasn't up to par on legal, non-legal. What's the difference between medical and recreational? And about 20 years or so ago, I started working with city narcotic agencies to basically start getting the understanding of what's the difference, how I'm using it as medicine and others would abuse it, and started working with hospitals and doctors. From the doctor I worked with for over 15 years was MIT, Cambridge, medical doctor. And we started understanding that that there wasn't just one sniper shot. It's not just one element. And so I started cultivating for other people. And that's when things kind of got to the understanding of what's well, how do you do this? I mean, do you put money in the bank? Do you how do you tell somebody this is going to help a certain ailment? And we had over 6,000 patients, and it was from cancer to AIDS, glaucoma, epilepsy, Down syndrome. It was just everyone is asking. And next thing I know, we had our Health and Human Services start sending people our way when people were down to their terminal cases of their cancer. The hospital couldn't do anymore. They would send them to us. And it was important because we need more people like Laura who are that you say that you're a consultant, but it's more like a shaman, and not a lot of people understand that that when a doctor gives you a recommendation, they're just clueless. And so we're able to hold the hands of our patients, and then getting into finding that people didn't want to get high. They were more looking for the CBD effects, but understanding that your body needs a minute form of THC, not for the psychoactivity, but the mere fact that the THC, the tetrahydrocannabinoid, delta 8s, delta 9s, helped the absorption of these other minor and major cannabinoids. So it just really kind of took off into agriculture. So my human anatomy got me into agriculture, and then while I'm studying about this wonderful plant, all the studies got me right back into human anatomy. So it was a wonderful long way about. But what I found out is not the difference of animal and plant cells; it was the similarities. So the physiology of a cannabis plant is a teacher. It teaches you about your body. It teaches you how to love another being. Plants are beings, just like everything else on the planet, and has energy and frequencies. And
absolutely, like I never felt more connected with the world around me than when I was high. To be honest, like it really started to open up my entire perception to the fact that we are one human species and we all bleed red, and I can feel your energy from there in California and there in, where are you, Laura?
Montana,
that's right. And so I can feel your energy, you can feel mine, all of our guests can feel it. It doesn't matter. We are one connected species. And so it's amazing. Absolutely. So tell me about this endocannabinoid system, Jeff.
Well, all vertebrates, so everything with a spine has this system found in there. It was there's a few theories, but the one that I kind of like to go with is when the dawn of man basically started finding patches of hemp or cannabis, and they basically just started utilizing this as a food source. And also really great for shelter and all kinds of other things when we get into the agricultural revolution and started. The reason why it's called cannabis is because it's cane, it's bis, means two, and then sativa. Sativa is not actually a strain or a type. It's actually the root language of important to cultivate. So this is why you'll find sativa on a lot of other plants, like camelina sativa, which is a mustard. It's just since the dawn of man, we had very important crops to start off with for civilization. So with this in hand, about 10,000 years ago is when we started kind of noting when we were kind of using written language and historic archive knowledge, is when they started using the hemp fibers and the hemp seeds and all that wonderful stuff. And then we get into the endocannabinoid system. We had no idea about it until like 2006.
Right.
And so there, with us having prohibition during the 30s, all the hemp farmers thought that they were going against this evil marijuana.
Yes.
And they voted for it. They voted for it to make marijuana illegal. And so when the DEA came out, they didn't go to the cartels. They went to the hemp processors, and they're all like, "What are you doing here? Like, this is hemp. This isn't marijuana." And so when we did that, we took the everything out of our diet that we were relying on, because the seed itself, when it's processed, it still gathers minute forms of the oil from the calic that will find minute forms of THC, minute forms of CBD. And this was important. So we started having more diseases pop up over time. And there was unexplainable. Why are we having mental disorders? Why are we having a plethora of cancers just start to come out of nowhere? The CB1 or the C1 and the C2 receptors are highly important for the evolution of man, for our thought process, for our healing process. I mean, this creates homeostasis of our body, of all organs, from your skin, liver, kidneys, lungs, heart. It's responsible for cellular regeneration. This enacts our stem cells. So that's why post surgeries, broken bones, lacerations, it's really important to have these cannabinoids in our system to help us heal. Hormone imbalance. These are some major things with our water that we have now. It has every known drug to mankind in it. So everyone's wondering, why do we have all these chemical imbalances? And it's just, and so having the endocannabinoid therapy reintroduced to our society, it was such a wonderful move. I can see that this was the very essence of our farm bill, and also getting into the pulp, herd, seed, fiber, grain, biodiesel, biofuel, bioplastics. So it just gets into everything else. So so with the endocannabinoid system, it's now the next phase of pharmaceutical, and for nutraceutical, homeopathic therapy. All of this comes into play because these cannabinoids help other molecules work better. Right. So we can actually reduce the need for synthetics. They were wondering why the actual, right? So this is kind of where it gets into the seed oil. And with our seed, the seed from the hemp plant is the most nutritional nut on the planet. It has the correct omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids that are needed for cellular growth. We have our major proteins, the most essential amino acids. And so it's kind of telling a story. And then we even get down into the root, the alkaloids that are found in the root are highly important. To and Tang, the Pharmacopoeia, he wrote about this over 4,000 years ago in the first medicine book. Yeah. So these are all important. The evidence is there. There's stipulations on why this hasn't been introduced. But now that it is,
really quick?
Yeah,
so
go for it.
I hear, how many times now Alaska's had a legalized cannabis industry since 2014. And I have heard over and over, well, we just need more research. We just need more research. Oh, we just need more research. There needs to be, we need more research, but we already have enough to prove that this plant is medicine. We already have enough to prove that this is a supplement to the existing endocannabinoid. We have enough of that research already. So that's enough to say, okay, legalize it nationally and stop being behind the times of the rest of the world, right? Like that's where we're at right now, behind the times. Because everybody else, Israel's got a phenomenal research program, right? They're like way ahead of the times in realizing the power of the cannabis plant. And so, awesome. Anything else you want to add real quick, Jeff?
Oh, no, that's kind of where we're at right now. Okay. Is with the endocannabinoid system and the most nutritional nuts on the planet and the roots. I think we have a winner here for saving the farms for our farmers, saving our healthcare for. I mean, I don't think there's too many American pharmaceutical companies, so I see this kind of being a domestic source of medicine, which is fabulous. And then we get into gut health and we can go on about. I can go about on this.
We could do, but we got to get to Laura. So let's get to Laura. So, real quick, David Cortez, praise God, absolutely, praise Jehovah for His amazing creation that He created, and such a time as this that we are able to recognize it for the food source and medicine that it is. I hands down believe that hemp will end world hunger. When we let her go and we let it, just that hemp seed can make milk and ice cream and food and flour and so many different food products. And of course that nutritional value. And so just like we said, and Jeff gave this great quote, was that food is medicine, right? And medicine is food. And so how you understand the cannabis and hemp plant really needs to be rooted in the fact that, behold, I have given you every seed bearing fruit for food. Okay. God gave us this plant for food, but how we use it is vitally important. And that brings me next to Laura. So thank you, Jeff, for that great overview. Super educational. Laura is amazing. Laura with Story Hill Brook. She has got this amazing thing called a Certified Cannabis or Cannabinoid Coach. Okay, she's a certified cannabis. She's got education I couldn't even pretend to start with. Okay. So, but what's so awesome, Laura, thank you so much for coming on. But what I really want to get into is, Laura, you've got an amazing story about how you had this horrific accident and you were able to use cannabinoids to bring about a state of homeostasis for your body. And so go ahead and share with us, how you came into that, how you came in to be a certified cannabinoid coach. And if somebody wants to be one, how do they do that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me today. I have a unique story in that I actually, over 20 years ago, I remember going to a naturopath and telling them, it was the first person I actually felt comfortable talking to about my cannabis use. And I said, I use it when I get really stressed out because it helps me feel normal. It helps me feel more calm and relaxed. He didn't talk to me anything about different cannabinoids, but he explained to me that wasn't bad, that we actually, and he didn't give me a name of the system. He didn't give me any facts. He just let me know that we actually had something within us that received cannabis as medicine, and that it was okay if it was helping me to feel normal and it wasn't making me feel high, which was very much the case. I didn't go around in a stoned state. I was using it to come off of that, edge.
Yeah, so, that panic attack. Yeah,
exactly. And so I was raised on a ski resort, guest ranch. I have had multiple traumatic brain injuries. I have had over 30 surgeries in my life. And so I have systemic inflammation, brain issues that, a lot of people luckily don't have to deal with. And to top it all off, I 3 years ago ended up being in a car that was hit by a train. And that sent me on quite a scary journey, quite honestly. I found that a lot of my memory was gone. I had systemic issues with not only just discomfort, but just I was constantly feeling discomfort in my own skin, quite honestly, with my brain. I had a number of friends that tried to talk me into taking CBN. And I quite honestly, at that point, I had never had a good source. So I thought it was a scam. I literally thought that CBD was the biggest scam going. And so I was in a state for about 5 months of showing up for things that I couldn't remember why I was there, not showing up for things that I was supposed to be. There was a lot of discourse. And I had a friend reach out to me with a nano technology of a CBD that had zero THC in it And I was actually really upset that they were even asking me because they knew my opinion on it. And I took it. And within about 2 minutes, I opened my eyes and I was like, I need some of that. And there was
some of that stuff right now.
Yeah, this homeostasis that had come over me that I had not felt since I had that thing coming at me on the tracks. It had not been there. And I was actually able to get it quickly. And that really stood out in my mind. I was like, wow, okay, there's something here. This is not a scam. Yeah. I just had not been getting the right source of what I needed. And I love the fact that it wasn't a THC source. So it wasn't making me feel altered at all. I could go about my work. I could have intelligent conversation. Yeah. And it started feeling like quick that I was able to do this. So that really got my attention. And as an organic farmer, I care about what I put in my body. I'm very careful about the food, about the medicine I put in. And so I like the fact that I had found an organic source as well. So I went through and I started realizing, well, there's all these great benefits, but my brain was still not there. It wasn't coming back the way I needed it to. And fast forward another like 5 months, I was turned on to a nanosonicated CBG and cannabidiol. And that's all about the neuroregeneration, and it's all about gut health. And literally from the first milliliter I put in my mouth, I felt like there was a pressure release valve that had happened in my brain. It was instant. It was not, and I don't think that it's that way for everybody, but I think that I had so much inflammation in my brain that it really was a noticeable, like, oh, thank you. Yeah. And I had people actually touching my eyes, telling me that they could see the inflammation gone out of them, which was very surprising, like, you know, within the first 24 hours. So that got my attention. It got my attention big, right? That was like, whew, okay. So all of a sudden I'm realizing that going at a 50-year-old woman, I was going through menopause. I was going through all these different things in conjunction with, and I started realizing like all these different aspects of my life were actually getting less intense. And I was sleeping better at night. I didn't have so many stresses. You know, it was like all across the board. Right. Well, I got an amazing phone call from my pharmacy telling me that I had not filled seven prescriptions. And I was like, what? Praise God. A week later, I got a call from my chiropractor asking me if I was okay because he hadn't seen me for over 6 weeks. I had been going into my chiropractor regularly. Like regularly, I mean 4 to 5 times a week because I had such horrible whiplash you cannot even imagine. Right. I had been going to, you know, my physical therapist 3 times a week, massage a few times a week. I was going after what I could. All these people stopped seeing me. And that really made an impression to me. So that's great. Exactly. And I thought if I can help other people to experience that, that is absolutely remarkable. Yep. So I did. I enjoyed, you know, I enjoyed going and learning. And I found the more I learned, the more I wanted to know. Kind of like Jeff. It was the opposite way into it, from organic farmer into this. But I was like, gosh, this is amazing. Yeah. This is an absolutely empowering plant. It is like there's so much there. And so I ended up, when I the whole March 13th came into my world, I flew back in from Mexico into the country of 2020. And welcome to COVID season. This year. Yeah, I realized things were going to be a lot different for us. And I no longer wanted to be affiliated with one company because I knew that that was not my truth. I was not finding every answer in one company and one product. I was using a broad range of products. Yes. And so I ended up searching like hard for an education. And I kept on finding places that would set me up to be a grower, that would set me up to be a bud tender, that would set me up for all these different things, but that wasn't what I was wanting. Right. And so I had spent hours and hours for the past few years listening to Dr. Mary Clifton out of Manhattan, New York. And she's an internal medicine doctor, 20 years in the in internal medicine. She's licensed in 20 different states. And I reached out to her and I just said, what do you recommend? I sent her this message on Facebook. Well, the next morning she called me. It blew me away. I was like, Mary Clifton, right? I mean, because she was some kind of a star to me at this point.
Right. Yeah.
Well, she was baffled at why I had reached out to her. And, she's like, why did you even reach out to me? And I'm like, well, because I respect you. I followed you. And I want to know what you recommend because I'm coming up empty-handed. Well, it turned out she was actually just starting her course that she was working on. And she was putting together the Cannabinoid Protocol certification course, which was being put together, as Jeff was saying. I mean, we have over 80% of doctors on this planet believe that cannabis actually could be beneficial to their clients or patients. Yeah. Less than 30% feel comfortable even saying the word to them. And that is unfortunate. Especially when we have this opioid problem, and I myself went through a rotator cuff surgery 3 years ago, and I went through abdominal surgery, removing mesothelioma this year. Both of them, I did not take one pill. I did not take any over the counter or one pharmaceutical. Yes. I left out of that hospital and I said, no, we don't need those. And we went home. And I dealt with it with a broad spectrum of cannabinoids. I did not.
Absolutely. And everybody told me, they said, you need to just fill your prescriptions just in case. I'm like, no, I will not. And I don't need to. And I'm not going to waste the state of Alaska's money on this prescription money. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't need
it.
But
I don't get my trip to the Bahamas if you don't.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that's really exciting. You can go back and you visit your doctor and it's like the doctor's saying, you're the poster child for this recovery. What are you doing differently? Well, this is what I'm doing differently. And I would be very straightforward with them. No, I was not taking the morphine you gave me. Instead, I put a little bit of, a cannabis concentrate on a piece of chocolate and ate it at night and I slept. Or CBN is all of a sudden coming in and helping me to find ease and relaxation where otherwise I'd be really filled with anxiety. So there's a lot of answers there. And that's where I joined in with Dr. Clifton and went through her program, which is basically, dealing with the fact that it's not only our genetics that plays a part in our health, but it's our epigenetics, the way we're living our life. And the fact that, as we go outside, we're no longer breathing in the pollen from hemp. We're not eating our meat that has been grazing on hemp. We don't have these natural sources coming into us. We do need to supplement it because we are not producing this in our own bodies. So it's very much to me, I look at it like taking my vitamin D. I do it because I want to be healthy.
Yeah. Yep. And not to mention this is something I stand for. And as a future politician for the United States of America or the state of Alaska or wherever I decide to run for office, I will end artificial ingredients in our food supply. I will end chemicals in our food supply that are not clean and real. You want to know why you have a sick population? It's because you get them addicted to cane sugar and then you put so many artificial colors and chemicals and things in our food supply that are not even allowed in other countries' food supplies who pay for their healthcare, right? So they make food for Americans and then they make food and that's a whole different story. We'll talk about hemp as food a different day. But it really is so powerful to me that what you consume is what you become, whether that be through your mind or whether that be through your body. And so that is the big message that I want to share out, that it's vitally important that we start to consume clean things. And that's where hemp can clean our air, clean our soil, and provide that. So absolutely. So keep going, Laura. Sorry.
So I have just really, I enjoyed, I completed the program a couple months ago, and I've actually been working with Dr. Mary to build the program because I believe really strongly in it. I've just been reaching out with a lot of doctors, healthcare professionals, and trying to get them brought into it to where we have a broader understanding and we're better able to give more people positive first experiences with it, without ending up with them stoned out of their minds thinking that is what the experience is. And I think that's an unfortunate truth that a lot of people, you know, if their doctor does feel comfortable saying something, then they walk off to a dispensary where some person who smokes dab hits all day is telling them what they need to do. And these people are having terrible experiences. And they're not taking idea into specific cannabinoids. They're not, you know, if somebody doesn't want to have any THC, now the research has gone into the fact that you can complete that entourage effect with terpenes. So you can use specific terpenes to come in and take the place of that THC. If you have people who cannot have
somebody that doesn't understand, terpenes are what?
Terpenes are found in every plant, and they're basically the different components in plants. Jeff, you might be able to give a better scientific. I'm not a very scientific person.
Oh, it's real easy. It's what makes a rose smell like a rose.
Like the smell, flavors, right?
Yes. Okay. They're water soluble, and you're completely correct. The terpene profile of a plant is going to change how these major and minor cannabinoids are absorbed and work. I mean, if you're working on memory, then you want something that smells like rosemary and rose. And if you're doing anti-inflammatory, we're going to be talking about limonene, and we're going to be talking about eucalyptus. So all these have limonene and pinene and all different kinds. Yeah. They're easy. I mean, your essential oils, we've been studying these forever. Yeah. And just the infusion in the air or put under, I mean, my wife, she totally believes, I mean, we use lavender on, you got a headache? Oh, lavender. Oh,
lavender. Yeah,
right? You got a spasm in your belt? Lavender. So, I mean, it's great. And then, so that's why with the actual cannabinoids, it goes back and forth. It's synergetic. So it's really hard for us to talk about. That's why I'm really with you on the broad spectrum, the raw. I mean, my father always said, son, just keep everything as close to what God made and you're good. Yeah. Like you're fine. If as soon as I started listening to the doctors and like, all right, I have to be on opiates for a whole year before the next surgery. And it just destroyed my mental, destroyed my body. And I just looked at my doctor and said, hey, look, can I do it my way now? So, oh, you could do it better than me? And let's see. And next thing you know, like what Laura said, you're a case study. Hold on, wait a minute. You just revolutionized the way I look at medicine.
Exactly. And that's what we want to do. I mean, and you can only do that if you feel comfortable talking and being honest with your doctor about this and really letting them know that this is helping you, that this is, you know, a medicine that you're reaching to and you're using it instead of that second dose of Tylenol or whatever it is that you're using it to replace. It's like, if you're able to use that, communicate that honestly, because it's very important that we bring this into our doctors.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that 8,000 people die a year of aspirin.
Yeah.
They're all like, whoa, wait.
Like that for sure. So let's get on to the next topic here. We've got about 10 minutes left. So we're going to kind of race through some things here. But now it's a common fact that not everybody responds well to THC or CBD. Or, I mean, honestly, you can get CBD gummies at the gas station. And how can you really trust that they're, you know, good or that they're going to work for you? So, Jeff, as a consumer out there, how do people know, you know, what's going to work for them and what's not going to work for them and what's good and what's not? How do they know?
Well, I mean, that's why with this whole ramp up on production of THC, I mean, dealing with patients on a day-to-day basis, it was just it's too strong. I mean, if you have anxiety and your doctor says, oh, use marijuana, and then you go and get a 28% indoor grown special name, thinking you spent more, it's going to work better. And next thing you know, you're having a spaz attack because your psychoactivity is off the wall. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost as important, like what you were talking about is, I mean, eating clean and knowing your farmer, knowing your pharmacist, knowing your the people, the lab. I mean, do some research. I
Right.
mean, if you get your CBD from a gas station, then expect gas station results. Like your corn dog, you think you're going to get dinner from a gas station?
Yep.
Well, guess what's going to happen? Your
Yep.
body's not going to like it that much. So it's really important for you to understand that if you are looking for this as a medical, the medical effects, that you really need to consult your doctor, plain and simple. If the doctor doesn't know and you feel uncomfortable, you have the wrong doctor.
Amen.
So you had the doctors that I've worked with at the end of my my having to go to the doctor all the time. I was very blessed because they were open minded. They were understanding that I had a broken jaw, and I told the ER, look, I am not going to take any opiates. Don't even give me any antibiotics. I'll take this on my own recon. I will take probiotics in a very big form. I'm going to use endocannabinoid system instead of the opiate system. And it worked. It may not work for everyone, but all I can go by are what I have seen in my own physiology, what the people that were relying on us to help them understand that just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you need to find your own little your different strain you need, or if it's the butter that's going to work better for you, or the gummy, or so. And just that journey of finding what's best for you, you start asking, well, what is best for me? And you a lot of our patients and the people around us think they can just go to a doctor and say, oh, you're going to fix me. And it's no.
Stop that
No,
right
you're
now.
going to fix
Stop
yourself.
depending on the doctors to take care of you.
I'm here to just give you.
To do that, they can't when it comes to cannabis. Just recognize.
Exactly. So being able to talk to a cannabis company, go to the laboratory. If you can't call them and have some simple questions and answers, then once again, find a different source. Take your health very seriously. And that's Hippocrates is the one who came up with the quote. May food be your medicine and medicine be your food. And if we have the endocannabinoid system and we're feeding the oil, the hemp seeds, everything, the plant itself, we'll use if you're still on dairy. So you're on dairy, you're going to eat cheese, you're going to drink milk. Now, if those animals are eating the actual cannabis plant, then those cannabinoids will be in the actual milk. Because women, the first I'm going to stumble on this sturm, or the first week of child suckling colostrum, it is full of endocannabinoid system or endocannabinoids.
Yep.
So it just goes to show that this maybe should be in prenatal. If it's
that statement of like, you are what you eat, right? You become what you put in your body. And so when you truly recognize that, and when you truly make your body your temple, and the recognition that you can't get through life if your body isn't taken care of, and your body, like, health is wealth, right? That's very clear in life, that if you don't take care of your body, it's not going to work. Now, one thing that I believe wholeheartedly, and I know the science is going to get there, is that one day we will be able to take a mapping of Laura's endocannabinoid system and Jeff's endocannabinoid system, and we will be able to say, okay, what are your deficiencies and what are your specific needs? And then somebody in the pharmaceutical realm who has that kind of chemistry brain can extract specific things and put that together and reverse engineer the process, right? Instead of taking a product and hoping it works for you, instead looking at the body first, determining what is wrong, and then putting those medicines in place in a time release, dosed way. And that's what we need. That's where the cannabis industry and hemp industry has really been handicapped, is that we're doing this self-medication thing, looking for what we know works because we know it works with our bodies, but yet each human is so vitally different based on what their genetics are, what their life has been like, and what their programming has been like. So it's
and that's
vital.
why it's so important. Yeah, that's why we created the California Golden Hemp as our co-op for cultivation, so we can know where this is, where is it grown, how is it tested, how is it harvested, who tested it. That's why we created
Right.
our own extraction company with California hemp producers that are extraction and pulp herd seed fiber here in the near future for other commodities. But we tried finding the most simplest word is honest. Just honest, real people who are doing this for the right reasons. And the people I work with California hemp producers, these people care. I mean, they're God-fearing people. Their energy, their spiritual. Right. I love this because
Super
this goes
important.
into the actual medicine that we're creating. So I mean, just like what you said. So we have isolates of all the different cannabinoids, and like with Laura saying, hey, look, I'm your coach, we're here to find some solutions for you, that we're going to find the deficiencies that you're in. Okay, we need a blend that they're able to find which one has their ratio that they're looking for, because you're completely right. I mean, the CBD, are we dealing with mental? Are we dealing with physical, emotional, gut, brain, heart?
And we've only just begun to realize what each of the cannabinoids can do, right?
And that's why the relationship between like Laura and I are like important, because then Laura can actually like, hey guys, this is what we're thinking about. Our doctor's thinking about this research. How can you make a formula? And this is how it has to be moldable. We have to create this industry to be individualized healthcare.
Exactly. I love that concept.
It's incredibly empowering to people to have that. And it's scary as well. I look at people when, we talk about, they're like, well, how much do I take? And I'm like, well, you need to start out small and then we titrate up. And people look scared. And it's like, we're not used to being told to listen to our body, to step back and feel what we're feeling.
Yeah. That is listening to your doctor.
Exactly. So that's an empowering thing. And, back on the safety, Jeff, another thing, and one of the big things that I do is I have a large number of companies that I've worked with, not a large number, but that I vet very carefully. And it's like, I look very carefully. I will not work with a company if it's not organic. If it is not certified organic, I do not want to work with them. I have no interest, because it is a remediator. It is sucking the toxins from the ground. I do not take toxic anything from medicine. So I'm not going to do that.
When you're aware of your body, why would you do that?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Why would you make that conscious choice when you understand that what you put in your body becomes your body? Like, no.
Exactly.
Well, and see, that's very that working with the agricultural industry, just because it says organic doesn't mean it's cleaner. And that's so important, because even we did research on using organic material, using only organic ingredients, and then the heavy metals, because metals are organic. So it's I mean, if you use chicken manure or different kinds of things, that's why the testing of our material is so important, organic or not. I mean, naturally grown, sustainably grown. There's new verbiage coming out that kind of goes around. I've had organic farmers have a little bit more problems than people who are growing conventionally but didn't use the bad inputs. So that's why understanding how this is cultivated, where this is cultivated, we're testing soils before we even plant to make sure that it's in the right range for us to create some a medicine compound, or even something that's going to be consumed like the oil from the seed. And that's why the remediation process is important. If the land is not ready, we don't plant it. we do plant it, but we use those for biodiesels, biofuels, and more of building materials until it is suitable for cultivating something for human consumption. That's why,
Right.
Laura, that's why it's important to
I love
know
it.
your.
I love it.
the
You know,
talk-
I
talk.
let the Holy Spirit guide me as to who needs to be on these broadcasts, and I'm so grateful for the connection that was made here. Just as you know, he brings me to people and this connection. So this is really awesome. So okay, so it's 10 o'clock, or it's almost 10 o'clock, and so is it okay if we go just a few more minutes? Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
So we're gonna go ahead and kind of close up some things here, but Laura, you mentioned about being a certified cannabinoid coach. Can you give me just like a real quick, like 1 minute top on how we become one? How do we contact you? How do we get that going?
Sure. I actually put into the notes, and I don't know if that's available for everybody to see. If you go to cannabinoidprotocol.com,
Okay.
there is a short video with Dr. Mary Clifton, and that asks you to put in your information so she can send you more info. She has given me a discount code to share with people. The course originally, when I looked at it, was $2,997. When we entered into the pandemic, she and I talked about it, and she brought the price down to $600 for people because she wants people to be able to get an education from home, provide work from home, provide help from home. She has a huge need for coaches, and she wants to get the program going. So she offered me actually, just as a special gift, because I was the first person that came in with her, I get a Save 100 coupon. And so I put that up on here as well today, so that is going to be good. I'll let her know that I shared it with your community, and to honor that through with anybody who was interested. I'm happy.
I'll go ahead and put that on the replay, on the YouTube replay. I'll go ahead and put that in the notes as well as the link so they can reach that. Okay.
Perfect. And if people have other questions, you are always welcome just to reach out to me. I'm Story Hill Bliss on Instagram. That's probably the easiest place to connect up with me. I also have Story Hill Bliss on Facebook. So you're welcome to reach out to me. I love getting on Zoom calls with Dr. Clifton and people who are interested in knowing more. We just kind of get on three-ways and have fun conversations and see if it's right. It's not right for everybody. If you're somebody who's into, growing and such, unless you're really concerned about knowing more about the medicine you're providing your clients. I do have, people who are growers who actually do take the course. But for the most part, it's for people like you and I who are wanting to help others to have a safe journey with plant medicine.
Right. And that's it right there. A safe journey. It's a journey.
Yes.
It's a walking out. Because, as much as I always say, what begins in the spirit manifests to your mind and comes out your body. So when you put something back in your body, it's going to come back. It's going to hit the mind, and then it's going to hit your spirit. So your spirit life is going to walk these things out. And so it is a journey. It's a healing journey. Okay. America needs recovery, right? All of us in America need recovery. We need healing. And so the plant-based medicine aspect becomes the healing that we need. So awesome. I want to thank you both so much for coming on today. This has been so powerful. Like, so much great information that is just given. I mean, it's blowing my mind. And I know that my viewers have experienced just so much education that they didn't quite understand that they were going to get today. And so I'm so thankful to you. So if you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe on Hemp for Healthcare in Alaska on YouTube. You can like us on Facebook, Hemp for Healthcare in America, Hemp for Healthcare in Alaska. The goal here is that we're rebuilding. Now, I've always said we're revolutionizing. Yeah, we're doing that too. But we're also rebuilding the American and the Alaskan economy with hemp. Okay? Not just medicine, but yes, medicine. Also, we're going to make paper. We're going to make plastics. We're going to make cars.
Yes, we
we're
are.
going to make biofuel. We're going to make textiles. We're going to make every possible thing. Food. Food. We're going to make amazing things out of this plant. And in each state, will we build this green infrastructure so that each state can be able to take care of their people. Because the truth is a one world government is coming, and you can complain about it all day long, or you can decide that what are we going to do to make the best of the situation. And the best of the situation is that every state has its own powerful hemp industry, where you have infrastructure, you have processing plants, you have farmers, and you have buyers. And you have a hemp-based economy instead of an oil-based economy, because the oil industry is going down. Here in Alaska, we know that more than anybody, okay? We depend on oil in Alaska, and it sucks, doesn't it, when all of a sudden our singular economic dependence market is gone. And so what do? Do we sit around and follow oil to its demise? No, we don't. We decide that hemp is hope for Alaska's future, and we decide that hemp can provide for us a tax revenue source, a single tax revenue source where we can tax the hemp biomass and put that into a healthcare fund. Then we process the product and we sell the product on hempforhealthcare.com. The profits from your purchase on hempforhealthcare.com will go into a healthcare fund for your state, making this a state centralized healthcare fund program. Okay, this is not federally controlled, and it's not controlled by governments. It's not here to try to make governments decide whether or not the health of people are important. The health of people is vitally important. If we don't have a healthy people, if we don't have an educated people, we will not compete with the rest of the world, and we will not survive. So it's vitally important that we make health and education such an incredible just value statement that we fund it first, and it becomes the rest, the backbone of what we do with the rest of our time and our energy. So
agree.
Boom. So like I said, the hemp for healthcare model is simple. We grow hemp and we tax it and put that revenue into the state centralized healthcare fund. Then we process the hemp, then we sell it, and then we put that money back into the centralized fund. Okay. So when you buy hemp, hashtag, join me on this, please. In your post, hashtag, buy hemp. Get people realizing that they have to change their mindsets. They have to change their buying habits. They have to change how they do things in order for this to work. You know it's a great idea. It's not mine. Praise God for his idea. But we have to come together as a species, as an American people, and go, gosh, we've given our power away to China. We gave our power away to every other country that made everything that we've been using. And now we're suffering the consequences. So now we need to build infrastructure. We need to come. I'm not an isolationist, guys. I don't believe in like
generations.
I just believe
generations are relying on us to create this.
Absolutely.
Generations.
Absolutely. My son's legacy is this right here. And so I want to make sure that my people here in Alaska and in every state of the United States of America and every country around the world can take care of themselves no matter what is happening outside their borders, right? Yes. And that really is what needs to happen. So we've got to build a stronger foundation for that. Okay, so this really gives us an opportunity to have healthcare for all without it's like a capitalist notion of a socialistic idea. Right? So it's growing hemp and it's buying hemp in as much capitalist way as we can make it, but also using the profits not to fund the pockets of Jeff Bezos and Amazon billionaire, but instead to fund the pockets of healthcare professionals to provide healthcare for you and I and your family and everyone moving forward. Okay, so a hemp-based economy is, let me get back to this. When you buy hemp on hempforhealthcare.com, you're not only funding this Healthcare for All initiative, but you're also funding the initiative in the Industrial Hemp for Prisons program, turning our prison populations into industrial hemp farms. We can discuss that. There's a broadcast on YouTube about that specific program. And then the hemp houses for the homeless. And that is simply building houses with every hemp product we can think of, hemp carpets, hemp paint, hemp mattresses, hempcrete. Come on, we can do it. And building that and then placing individuals who are homeless into these houses with a focus on recovery, case management, support, and treating these human beings like the human beings that they are. They're broken. That's all they are. They're broken. And they need support and they need stability. And so we are only as the sickest among us. And we need to bring that level up overall across our country. Okay. So when you buy, you support my advocacy for that mission. You support my team's advocacy for that mission. And one day we'll see a victory. One day we'll get to the political people in this world. We'll get them to change their minds because we've done it with cannabis. we'll do it again with this powerful initiative.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So a hemp-based economy can be a reality, but you must fund it, right? You must take your dollars and you must buy CBD products. You must buy hemp-based products instead of the others. Okay. You must choose that. And I can't do it alone. I can't do it without these amazing people, Jeff and Laura, who came to support me today. As much as they're out there sharing their expertise and getting a little bit of extra exposure, it's supporting of me. And I'm so, so grateful for that, because we have to do this together. This is the one thing that can draw the entire human species together, is the power of the hemp plant and what it can do for our planet. Okay. So please support me in my mission. Please become a Patreon of mine on Patreon. Search Hemp for Healthcare in America, or donate today to Cash App, Angel Armies 44, PayPal's Hemp for Healthcare, nak@gmail.com. I'll put that all in the comments, of course. And I just can't do this without you. So be sure to buy hemp and on hempforhealthcare.com. All right. So any last comments? I don't see any questions in the comments for you guys. Jeff, how do we get a hold of you?
Oh, you can get a hold of me at jeff@californiahempproducers.com, and I'll take emails. Get you in the right direction. If you need a coach, I'll send you to Laura. Basically, we're here to go for the next step, and that's to create ingredients. As you saw, California is letting this go into food, into health supplements. So we're looking forward to getting into the food industry. We're a small company that wants to grow organically into the phase of the next realm of where we're at right now, and that's creating a good sustainable source for people like Laura to have and to know who they're working with. How is this being cultivated? Is it a sustainable farming practices? It's exactly what the USDA needs right now. They want to know, how is this being bred? How's it getting to the consumer's hands? And we need to know everything in between. And it's very blessed to be working with both of you. So that way we can create a team of people that are willing to go and make this next phase, and that's creating an industry.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. Laura, what about you? How to get a hold of you?
You can reach me at storyhillbliss@outlook.com is my email, or storyhillbliss on Instagram. You can always direct message me there as well. And I'm very, very excited to connect people and help them to just have a positive first experience or continued experience with cannabinoids and cannabis, and to let them know that there are answers. There are different options beyond CBD. If that doesn't work for you and you are not interested in THC, there are still 111 other ones that are so far known cannabinoids, and we can maybe find things, other methods of finding some ease.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Okay, well, again, thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been awesome. I'm super excited. Next week, though, please join us. Next week, same time, same bat channel. If you're okay, you got to be maybe 40. I get that, but same channels. We're gonna do Explaining Hemp episode 4, and what's so excited is we're doing hemp as plastic. Single-use plastic, and plastics are disgusting. They destroy my soul. They make me so angry. Every single time I see massive amount of packaging in something that is so doesn't need that, it just makes me angry. We're going to discuss what happens to our oceans. We're going to discuss how hemp is going to disrupt the petroleum-based plastic industry. And so we have Heather Rubiales with Heather's Hemp Alternatives. She's specializing in biodegradable cannabis packaging, or packaging for the cannabis and hemp industry specifically. And then we're going to have Kurt McGee of Beyond Green Innovations. I'm really, really excited to have these two. So we're going to end plastic waste with hemp. It's going to happen. We're going to save our oceans. We're going to figure this stuff out. We may not be able to save the oceans. We may be too far gone, but we're definitely going to start making movements forward. Can we? Please, just tell me we can.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I already have projects in mind. that basically just cleaning up the plastic that's there, maceration, plasma arc recycling, turning it back to its original elements. Definitely. I mean, that's the sad thing is that, I mean, there's some plastics that we do need for a long time, but there's also those plastics that we can recycle and reuse. I mean, same with oil. There's some oils we don't need to be biodegraded. Sometimes we need a tire to last a really long time, but the future may not have tires in it. We may be in these drone vehicles turning into the Jetsons here in the next 20 years. But
here's my dream, friends, that Tesla will come to Alaska and make a hemp-based car manufacturing company that runs on hemp fuel and electricity.
We're already seeing the roots being zero resistance and electricity, and that it's actually outperforming graphene, and we can take out lithium. Yep, that's why we're producers. Yeah, we're getting into the manufacturing of all the other byproducts that come with it. So we're here for a long time. So I look forward to working with you a lot more. Laura, you got my email address. And Sarah, God bless you. Keep up the great work. And you girls have a wonderful afternoon.
Yep, we're going to finish it. So join us again Saturday, January 23rd, 9 a.m. And now let me bless you. And I'm going to send you on your way to be world changers, because you all are. All of you, every single one of you that watches this broadcast is one step ahead of everybody else, because you know where we're going. And so I thank you for being with me. Now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he shine his face upon you, and may he be gracious to you. May he show you his favor and give you peace. And in Jesus' name I pray. And all the people said, amen. See you all next week. God bless you. God bless Alaska, and God bless America. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.